here with what would be the 16th installment of the engine build series, and it's a real watershed installment. Some things have come up, and it looks like I have an opportunity to build a second motor. Something happened with the build, and it turns out that I get to disassemble and reassemble an engine. That's the good news. The bad news is it's my engine. I was putting the push rods and rockers on today. Everything was just set up to be a great day, and just continuing with the forward progress I've made of getting the bottom end done, the heads installed, getting set up to put the rockers on, and I was looking forward to having the intake bolted on today and just get the distributor in and get it off the hoist actually. And two things happened. Number one, this is my oil pump priming tool, and I was using it to pump up the lifters, and nothing weird about that. On the right hand side of the lifters, I had one lifter that just was really difficult to pump up. It didn't want to take the lifter was pumping up. I need to say the rocker wouldn't get oil. I took it all apart and just rearranged some things, took a rocker from the other side, moved it to that side. I alternated a push rod. I made sure all the push rods were clear, and it just wouldn't work. So I was like, well, what could be causing this? I had 1040 motor oil in it, and that was really thick. It's kind of cold, and I thought, well, maybe it's just a pressure issue. Flow issue, not pressure. Pressure was fine. So I drained the oil out, and I went and I got new 1030, and I got another bottle of additive, braking additive. It's like, I'll just swap the 40 for 30 and see if it works. Well, it did work. After the 1030 went in, all of the rockers on that side got oil and everything was fine. So I moved over to the left side and I started putting it together, followed the same procedures except one, and that one kind of bit me in the ass. And what turns out has happened is this. This is a brand new Melling chromoly push rod I picked up from O'Reilly. I went and ordered them Sunday. I got them in this morning. I picked them up, and that's when all this started. This push rod, you can't see through it. It is completely plugged with rust. And I noticed that when I was priming the engine again on the left side, when oil got to, I think it was the intake valve of cylinders, it would be 5. It looked like blood. I'm like, whoa, that ain't right. So I stopped and I pulled that rocker off, and yeah, it was rust. It's like, what the hell? So I cleaned that rocker out. I took that push rod out, cleaned it out, and it was fine. There was nothing wrong with that push rod. So I went ahead and reassembled it, primed some more, and the rust kind of went away. But then I noticed that the exhaust valve, or it was whatever cylinder is upstream, downstream from that, this guy here was the problem. It was the next one in line. This was so plugged with rust that it was backfeeding. The oil was trying to get through it, and it was creating a pressure block, and it was squeezing behind the lifter and flowing back up into that push rod where the problem expressed itself. So I pulled it apart, and this thing is 100% plugged with a rust ball. I cannot get it out. I used a coat hanger, and I just tried to push through both ends. It is gone. It's just useless. Brand new Melling push rod. I'm not blaming O'Reilly. This is obviously defective in the manufacturing process. It got water in it somehow or whatever. But yeah, that sucks a lot. The residue gets even better because through all that priming, I wasn't paying a lot of attention, and I was using this quite a bit. And this aluminum shank right here started to gouge. And during one of the priming runs on it, it just started spitting aluminum out. And that aluminum fell right into the top of the lifter valley. And I know some of it is down at the bottom of the pan. Some of it, I've picked a lot of chunks out of the lifter valley. But long story short, I cannot proceed with the engine build knowing what I know about there being metal in the engine and rust from that thing in there. I'm not even mad about it. You know, honestly, it's a learning process, and I knew before, but I just got a little one step ahead, and all the push rods I was using were okay, and that one wasn't, but I didn't check it before I put it in, and it bit me in the ass. So that engine that I get to rebuild is mine. I am going to just take a day or two and just chill and get the shop cleaned out, get the bench set up so I can lay out parts and get a nice procedure going. Then I'm going to tear this engine down piece by piece to a bare block, and I am going to scrub it out. And then I'm going to clean all my parts, and I'm going to inspect all the bearings, and I'm going to go and reassemble it. Good times, it's good experience, right? Just building a motor back to back. This thing was 85% complete and was looking good, but that's how far I got, everybody. Right there. It looks like a motor, but it'll be back in pieces by next weekend. These are the two lifters where that issue showed up at, two rockers. I've already rubbed some of the oil out of here, but this stuff was just blood red down in this where it collected between these two humps in the cylinder head. And then here, I wiped all this out, but there are just large pieces of, when I say large, I'm relatively speaking large pieces of metal. There's no such thing as a small piece of metal in an engine floating free. So, yay me. Good times. Good news is, I'm going to lose some money in the deal. I'm going to return the push rods, and I'm going to get different ones. But I'm going to lose oil. This is going to have 3 oil changes in it before it ever fires. So, and that oil's not cheap. The oil is, well, I'm using fairly cheap oil, but the additive is $20 a bottle. So it's going to be $60 in oil additive before this thing ever turns on its own. Good news is all I've been doing is hand turning this motor. So that metal should not have made it anywhere past the filter, but it's just sitting in the bottom of the pan. And it only takes one piece to find the right spot at the wrong time and wipe out a bearing or a cam or a lifter. I can't proceed on knowing that in the back of my head. I don't know where this engine's going to end up, and I just don't want it to be a time bomb. But that's the number 16 engine installment. I'm going to remember that one. Number 16 happens to be the same date as my birthday. So close this out and look at the bright side, take the positives that I've gotten this far before it all went to shit. And I get to do it again and get the process going. I'm going to do it all like I'd never done it before. I'm going to mic, I'm going to plastic gauge, I'm going to do it all just because while I have it apart, I might as well step forward and do some things again to relearn the process and impress it into my mind of the right way to do it so that this does not happen again. Keep watching. I'm going to keep updating, and I'm going to have a nice little video of the engine teardown. That'll be good. And there we go. So stick with it like I am. It's laughable. Like I said, I'm not even mad. You know, I'm at the point where it's almost fun. Big deal. I get to turn some wrenches again, and I get to rebuild a motor. So, hey, bright side, like I said. Well, I guess, as I said, thanks for watching. Keep up. This weekend, there's going to be a video out on tearing this motor down. And then hopefully by the next weekend, which will be the weekend after Christmas, I'll have it back at square one where I'm at now, and we can continue on with the build. Laugh at me all you want, leave all the comments you like, but just know that I know that I'm doing the right thing by not ignoring this issue now that I know it's here. And we'll go from there. Y'all have a good day, and like and subscribe, and follow me on this journey to the depths of hell. I'll talk to y'all later.